Are you looking for a Dynasty trade calculator that aligns with your own values? Because if you are, then I have the app for you, the Dynasty GM. The Dynasty GM's Dynasty Trade Calculator lets you run trade scenarios through the app that align with your own values by allowing you to input your own rank set, the Dynasty Nurse rank set, or your favorite analyst rank set. This is going to make sure the trades align with your values to make sure you're getting the best end of the deal possible. Go ahead and download the app for free in your app store.
So at this point, I am actually going to go ahead and I'm going to start this thing because you guys are ready to go. I'm ready to go. Let's make some magic. Let's start the draft here. Remember, this is 1 QB PPR. There's no tight end premium, nothing like this. Is a 1 QB. Of course, Ashton Jeanty goes off at the top here. That is not a surprise. That is not a surprise. Ashton Jeanty is clearly, in my opinion, the best running back in the class. In what is a good running back class? This is not a bad running back class by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be one of the better ones that we've had recently. Nick going with my boy Trey Henderson. TreVeyon going at 102. That's going to be a little hot takey for some people. I love it, though. I think that's a great, great pick. Man, all right, we're moving. Omarion Hampton at 1-3. He's got the prototypical size that you want out of a running back. Surprisingly good hands as well. So really, really like that pick. Tet McMillan, that feels like a really good value to be able to get him here at 1-4. So I like the value. And then we've got the tight end, despite it not being a premium. We've got the tight end here at 1-5. But look, if you think he could be anywhere close to Brock Bowers, more than worth it taking him at 1-5. For me here, I'm going to go back to the running back position because that's the strength of this class. It's too early for wide receiver for me. I like Colston Loveland, but I'm not really willing to take him here. And if I knew Travis Hunter was a full-time receiver, then I'd have no problem taking him here. But I don't know that. So at this point, I've got to go with the guy that I have in a tier. It's TreVeyon Henderson and Omarion Hampton, but in that same tier and actually right in between those guys, got Quinshon Judkins. I like a lot of this kid's game. When you look at what he's able to do, runs like definition of runs angry. Like the dude is just ticked off every time he touches the football. Put up over 1,500 yards as a true freshman in the SEC. So I really like him quite a bit. Caleb Johnson, who's been getting a lot of buzz, he goes here at 1-7 to Caden. My guy Downs here takes Luther Burden at 1-8, a guy that was at the tippy top of this class if we would have done this last year for the 25 class, but he's fallen a little bit. Emeka Egbuka, who is a really, really solid receiver. Maybe he doesn't have the elite athleticism that other guys might have. Maybe he isn't necessarily we got an auto pick. Hopefully you wanted Travis Hunter, my guy. Hopefully you wanted Travis Hunter. If not, all good. No worries. But yeah, Emeka Egbuka is going to be a really, really solid player. Colston Loveland, I mentioned him earlier. I like Colston quite a bit. Ollie Gordon going here at 111. They're kind of in a new tier of running backs now. Ollie Gordon kind of hoping that he gets the draft capital based on size and athleticism. And then Travis Hunter at 112. Caden saying, hot take for me, I would take Tyler Warren as high as 4 in this kind of draft, even though no tight end premium. So I like it. I like it. People are high on this guy. Nick saying the same type of thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Nick, it could be. If he's playing full-time receiver, that could absolutely be a steal. If he's not and he gets 10 snaps a game at receiver, then you're like, I used a first-round pick on this guy. So that's the rub. That's the rub on this. All right, here we go. We've got, some interesting names in round 2 so far. So we've got Devin Neal. Devin Neal here at pick 2-1. Matthew Golden, freak athlete type of guy here at 2-2. Alec Ayomanor, I'm going to work on the pronunciation. I think I got that right, though. At 2-3, wide receiver out of Stanford, big athletic guy. And then Dylan Sampson, kind of your more scat back type of player there at that pick. Interesting. I don't think Evan Stewart came out. He is on the possible drafted list. I like Jalen Royals. I like Xavier Restrepo. I like Damian Martinez. There's still some good names here, but I gotta go with Cam Scatabo. I think this is a steal. Honestly, I think I would be willing to take him in somewhere in the Ibuka, Loveland, Gordon range where that went in a 1 QB. I'd be looking to take him there. Now, had Scatabo been gone, I probably would have gone with who Caden just took in Cam Ward. But I feel like Scatabo there is an absolute steal. So I feel really, really, really good about that pick there. He's way too good not to play at least 50% of the snaps at receiver. Nick, we'll see. I don't know. Jack Beck, maybe we'll see. Yeah, you can mock draft right now on Sleeper. Yeah, if you would have been able to get him at 2-8, that would have been a nice pick. Although I like Trey Harris as well. I think Trey Harris is a good pick. So let's recap what we have in the second round so far. Kansas running back Devin Neal, who weighed in with a nice 220 at the Senior Bowl. That was good to see out of him. Matthew Golden at 2-2, Alec Ayomanor, Dylan Sampson, Isaiah Bond, Cam Scatabo at 2-6, Cam Ward at 2-7, Trey Harris at 2-8, Harold Fannin, the tight end out of Bowling Green at 2-9, Jalen Royals at 2-10, and Jordan James at 2-11. And we are about to get the final pick of round 2. Still some very interesting names out here. Some good wide receivers, some running backs I like, quarterbacks. It's interesting. They put some guys in here that are not draft eligible or did not declare for the draft. Like, I don't think Jalen Ott declared for the draft either. So they're going to have to clean up some of this kind of stuff here soon. But we'll see. Shador Sanders goes at 212. Feels like pretty good value overall. Take on the potential upside of a guy like that. Poopy PP loading up on running backs. If he walked out of the draft with Ashton Jeanty, Devin Neal, and then Damian Martinez, feeling pretty good about your haul. I like his draft quite a bit. We've got Tez Johnson, undersized player, came into the Senior Bowl at 156. But by all accounts, he had a very good Senior Bowl as far as his performance went. So really, really interesting player there in Tez Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon. Xavier Restrepo is really open. He was going to fall to me. He was even in consideration for me at 2-6. So the fact that he fell all the way to 3-3, I think is really pretty good value there for Restrepo. Kind of a slot type of receiver. But he's physical. He's thick. Can make all the plays. He's got solid hands. I think he's going to be a really solid pro at the next level. I don't think he has this crazy high ceiling unless he just gets in a situation where he's absolutely fed targets, which is tough to get at the NFL level, especially if you're not a first round pick. But we will see. RJ Harvey, little undersized back at 3-4, but put up some monster seasons there for UCF. So really interesting name there at pick 3-4. I'm about to be up. I'm about to get to make my pick. Oof. Who do I want? Some names here I like. There's some names here that I still like. All right, I'm going to go with Elijah Aurora. This kid crushed at the Senior Bowl. Was nearly impossible to guard. Came in at a legit like 6'4.5", 250. So feel pretty good with Elijah Aurora there. Bullish on Bond? Not really. Not just every once in a while that type of player works, but they traditionally don't. Jalen Royals, I think, is a good pick. I have 1 or 2. Can you tell me why you would go TreVeyon over Hampton or Tet? Look, honestly, I would be fine with any one of those 3. Right now, I haven't done my Tet McMillan tape yet, but I have done TreVeyon and Hampton. I have their scores very, very close together. I do have TreVeyon over Hampton at this point. His home run ability, his ability to be able to catch the football, he's great in pass protection. There's a lot to like in his game, but I think he just fits what the NFL is wanting to do is, hey, we want a guy to get 10 rush attempts, 5 receptions a game, get him 15 total touches, but we want to get him in space a lot, allow him to hit the home runs. Think of guys like Chase Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane. Like, there's a lot of guys in the league right now like that. I think TreVeyon falls into that group, but he's a little bit bigger. Not a lot, but I do think he is a little bit bigger than a lot of those guys. Travis Etienne is not in the system yet. Noel had an amazing Senior Bowl. So I'm definitely interested. We do listener leagues. We do. I'm in a few of those, and there might even be some people here listening and watching today. Pass blogging would keep him on the field, puts him ahead of for me. Tape was very underwhelming, in my opinion. I'm excited to get to him. I'm excited to get to him. Downside, next time I am picking before you. My bad, my guy. Getting Scattaboo and Aurora there. I feel pretty good about. So let's recap the third round here. 3-1, we've got Damian Martinez, Tez Johnson, Xavier Restrepo, RJ Harvey taking the upside, and Jalen Milroe at 3-5. Elijah Aurora there at 3-6. Jack Beck at 3-7. We've got Jaden Higgins, the Iowa State kid, at 3-8. Brashard Smith at 3-9. DJ Giddens at 3-10. Gunnar Helm at 3-11. And Donovan Edwards at 3-12. Well done, people. Well done. We might even cut this up. And maybe throw it as a standalone YouTube video. Just this right here. So I'll leave this up for a little bit. I'll leave the board up so you guys can see it as we're talking. But let's third round is juicy. You're right. There's some players there. There's some players there that are interesting. Guys like Henderson could last a while, getting in space, avoiding hits. See Kamara, so great value. Yeah, maybe, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got more than 10 rushing attempts a game. But those types of players, like, all I need is 15 touches. I don't need much more than that. If I get more, I'm not upset about it. But they don't need a crazy amount. You've seen a lot of these guys still be able to perform well, even with maybe some limited touches in the rushing game, but they make up for it. I mean, if he's getting 5 receptions, just on receptions alone, there's 5 points. Let's say he averages even a low amount. So he averages 6 yards per reception, which would be not amazing, but it wouldn't be bad. It'd be pretty average. There's another 3 points. So you have 8 points before he's even done a single thing on the ground. And if he happens to get in the end zone. So we'll see. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get some questions in. I got some time left today. We went through that 1 QB mock fairly quickly. Didn't take us too long to get the guys we wanted, draft the players for our teams that we were looking at. So, I try to go at least to 12:30, usually past 12:30 most days. So, let's see. Jackson Dart in the 4th or 3rd feels like a good dart throw, depending on draft capital. Nice. Agree, 10 to 15 touches is the sweet spot. Remember, we don't want these guys getting overused, leading to them to becoming unavailable. Nice pun. Absolutely. I didn't even think about it. No, you got to take credit for that, Luis. You got to take credit for the pun. Even if you didn't mean to do it, just take credit for it. Here's a good question. Mostly says, if I tear down from CD to London, what should I ask for on top of CD? I would try to get a late first. I think you could. I think you could get a late first on top of London. It would be tough, but I think that would be what I would be looking for, because I'm not moving CD just to move him, and I get it. Drake London had a good season as well, so it's not like we have to worry about him in any way, shape, or form. But you're looking at a guy that was the number 1 overall receiver last year. So I think you're going to want to get a first on top. Do we think QBs fall this far, even in 1 QB? I don't think this is super far off in 1 QB. You're almost never going to see a quarterback go in the first round of a 1 QB league unless he is elite upside type of player. And I don't think either one of the Cam Wards or the Shedeur Sanders are elite upside type of guys because of the lack of rushing. So I would say I think this is actually pretty accurate. I think this is pretty accurate. Kyle, Superflex tight end premium. I have picks 1, 3, and 4 part of the draft. How do you see those 4 picks going? In Superflex tight end premium, I think it will probably still go Ashton Jeanty 1. Then I think you're going to get some sort of trio of the 2 quarterbacks and Tet McMillan. But look, TreVeyon Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, if you like any of those guys, or honestly, Tyler Warren as well. Like, I think that group is all very close in a tight end premium. And you could almost put all of those guys in a box, shake it up, and whatever comes out is probably a decent pick. So right now, I value picks like 4 and 5 basically the same as I would value pick 2. How many rookie running backs are in that second tier? So for me, it's Jeanty, and he's in his own tier. And then we've got Trey, Hampton, and Judkins in the next tier. Then in the third tier, then I have Caleb Johnson and Scattaboo kind of in their own tier. Maybe Devin Neal in that tier. Gordon's not super far off, but that's kind of how I look at it right now as of today. What guys are on your radar after this Senior Bowl? Yeah, there's definitely some names that popped up that are a little bit more interesting. I took one of them, Elijah Aurora from Miami. He was a kid that I liked in college, but wanted to see him weigh in. I wanted to see him, is he just going to be that receiver? So coming in at a legit 6'4", then also having the 250 pounds, but still moving like he was, I think he could be a really, really good receiving threat at the next level. Higgins and Noel, both guys from Iowa State, wide receivers. I think those are guys that I'm wanting to really dig in a little bit more on and kind of see how legit they could potentially be at the next level. So those are some other guys that I really like. I have 104, and my QB2 is Carr, and I have legitimately 0 running backs. Do I lean Ward, Shedeur, or load up on running back? I would probably be taking Ward or Shedeur there. I think that's a great spot for them to go if either one's still available, which I think one will. Somebody's going to fall in love with either Tet or one of these running backs. So, yeah, I think taking a quarterback there is a good pick. Let's see. Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. It will become a little bit more clear, but right now, if I had to do it today, I don't think that's very clear compared to other years. In Superflex tight end premium, are you looking to trade pick 6 and 10, or would you take them? I'm in a top-heavy team. Depth is decent, but nothing special. Jack, I like to either turn those mid-range picks into multiple picks or use that to move up. So I would rather either take those picks, try to see if I can get maybe a little bit higher in the draft, but most likely you're not going to be able to do that. And I don't know if it'd be worth it since you're at 6. So what I would probably do is I would probably take pick 6 unless I love the player that's there. If I love the player that's there, then take that guy. But you could probably turn pick 6 into pick, 11 and 2 or something like that. And I think you could get somebody that you would really like, and you give yourself 2 shots to hit there instead of just the one, because those mid-range first, value-wise, over the past few years have not been much different than what we've had in the late picks. And in fact, the late picks have actually hit slightly better. I don't expect that trend to continue, but over the past 6 seasons, that's what we've had. We've had about a 45% hit rate on guys in the 9 to 12 range. In the 5 to 8 range, they've had about a 35% hit rate. So for what it's worth. If you had to pick one Jaguars buy low, who would it be? Strange, Etienne, or Parker Washington? Maybe even Bigsby as well, given Kirk and maybe Ingram leave. I would probably lean Strange. I don't love the running back situation there right now. We'll see how things work out, but they have to share, and Bigsby's getting just as much work, but Etienne's getting the receiving work. Just both of those seem like a bad situation. And I do not love the Shane Waldron hire. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big Shane Waldron guy. So with all of that, I don't love it. Caden, with Travis Hunter, if I drafted him at 112 in an IDP league, fairly decent scoring for IDPs, is it worth the risk? I could start him as my DB instead of wide receiver. Absolutely. Especially if you end up getting points for both. Like if he ends up getting points for both, you could make a case that he is 101. I don't know that your league does that. I don't know how that will all work out. But if that's the case, that could be pretty sweet. That could be pretty sweet. Do you think all of the backs in your first 2 tiers will go before the end of the second round of the NFL draft? I think there's a good chance. If not, I think they're within the first 2 or 3 picks of the third round because there's some teams there. But it'll be very, very close. Yeah, we will be having some guests on to help us break down the class. We usually do a lot of guests on YouTube during this time of year. I've already got some asks out there to different people to come onto the show, hang out with us, talk draft. So yes, that will definitely happen again this year. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, hanging out with me, doing this 1QB mock draft. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.